Concerns are mounting throughout the continent as several West African states have announced their intention to withdraw from the economic union. This unprecedented action raises significant questions about the future of economic cooperation, regional stability, and a united Africa. Were there other underlying issues at play, or did mounting frustrations ultimately lead to this decision? Understanding the reasons behind this fragmentation and its consequences is crucial for assessing the future of West Africa and its constituent nations. In light of recent events, ECOWAS has cautioned the military chiefs of Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali about the repercussions their withdrawal from the economic bloc will have on their people. By examining the grievances, potential remedies, and broader regional implications, let us delve into the intricate narrative underlying this unfolding drama. After being compelled to restore constitutional order following a series of coups, the self-appointed military leaders of the three countries announced on January 28 that they were leaving ECOWAS. According to the statement broadcast on state television in all three affected nations, ECOWAS had strayed from Pan-Africanism and the principles of its founders, and its departure was a manifestation of the strain on the organization after more than half a century of existence. Furthermore, it was emphasized that the decision to withdraw had been made with full sovereign power. These military leaders claimed that ECOWAS had become a threat to the citizens of its member states, having fallen victim to foreign influence, particularly since the military coup in Mali in 2020. ECOWAS had been actively working to combat the erosion of democracy in West Africa, and their departure has rendered the organization even more vulnerable. In Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, the Bloc's Security Council and Mediation Committee convened to discuss this issue alongside the extraordinary delay of the presidential vote in Senegal, which has sparked widespread outrage and global anxiety. When questioned about the withdrawal, Council Chairman Youssef Maitama Tigger cautioned that the people of these nations would suffer further hardships and harm as a result of the military leaders' decision.
The exit from ECOWAS would be much worse than the sanctions in terms of the hardship that it would place the citizens of these three countries. So we don't wish it upon them.
In his remarks, he reiterated ECOWAS's commitment to the three member states. Despite the potential withdrawal, ECOWAS has made a commitment to continue its membership and has pledged to intensify diplomatic, dialogical, and reconciliatory efforts. Omar Touré, president of the ECOWAS Commission, criticized the military chiefs for their impulsive action and suggested that they had violated the regulations governing withdrawal from the bloc. According to the treaty, if a member state wishes to leave the ECOWAS bloc, it must provide 1 year's notice, after which it is no longer considered a member of the community. Even if a state plans to withdraw, it is still obligated by the treaty to fulfill its obligations and meet its commitments within the year. While the three nations have announced their decision to leave, ECOWAS has stated that it has not yet received official notification and that, for the time being, they are still valued members of the organization. Despite the focus of the three military leaders on forming new partnerships, experts believe that ECOWAS will continue to engage in dialogue with them to maintain peace in the region. The relations between ECOWAS and Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have deteriorated due to the decision to use sanctions as a primary tool to address the coups in these countries. It is important to note that ECOWAS had set a date for a potential military intervention to restore democracy in Niger in August 2023. Most member states of the bloc have expressed readiness to contribute to a standby force that could be deployed in Niger, according to the organization. However, this possibility is now out of the question due to the departure of these nations. This departure represents a significant setback to regional stability and a devastating blow to the group, according to observers. In 1975, the 15-nation West African states came together to form an economic bloc with the common purpose of enhancing economic stability, improving living conditions for their citizens, and promoting collaboration and integration. However, there are concerns about whether ECOWAS has effectively improved the living standards of its citizens. The perceived failure of ECOWAS to adequately represent the interests of West Africans in a region where the underutilization of natural resources has long been lamented has reportedly eroded its favor among many West Africans. Withdrawals such as this will further deplete ECOWAS, exacerbating the precarious political situation in West Africa, emboldening extremist groups, and raising concerns about regional security. The loss of these three members will shrink the union's market, which could have implications for trade, investment, and economic growth within the bloc. This comes just after ECOWAS accused Burkina Faso in January of engaging in repressive acts, including the detention of prominent figures in politics and civil society, as well as an arbitrary and illegitimate process to restrict freedom of expression. The government of Burkina Faso strongly denied these allegations and reaffirmed its commitment to upholding the law and fighting terrorism. The transition of government remained unaffected by what was perceived as biased messaging and urged the ECOWAS Commission to proceed with professionalism and carry out its mandate. Respect for the country's decision was also demanded, casting doubt on the unwavering dedication of the ECOWAS Commission. In January 2022, large protests erupted in Mali, with people swarming Bamako and other cities to denounce the economic and monetary sanctions imposed on the country by ECOWAS and the West African Monetary Union. Do you recall this event? In a televised speech, Colonel Asmith Goiter, the head of the military, characterized these sanctions as unlawful, illegitimate, and cruel, rallying the population against them. This led to a response from the protesters. It is evident that these nations had already planned to leave the bloc, and their departure is imminent. The transitional government in Mali capitalized on the patriotic uprising sparked by the sanctions. The diplomatic, trade, and financial restrictions imposed on Mali included trade embargoes and asset freezes at the central banks of West African governments. The intention was to isolate Mali, damage its economy, and exert pressure on its authorities to hold elections sooner. These measures were aimed at intensifying pressure from external sources, particularly from the country's main diplomatic allies. Unfortunately, this plan has failed to yield the desired results, and the persistent sanctions by the group have created the perception that ECOWAS is more of a tyrant than an ally in Mali. The people of Mali seem to have forgotten the crucial support ECOWAS provided to the Malian military during the initial crisis. As mentioned earlier, the relations between these three nations and the wealthier Western and European nations have deteriorated. The recent withdrawals from ECOWAS have cast uncertainty over the future of West Africa. Can dialogue repair the strained relationships, or will the region continue to fracture even after the initial shock has subsided? The response of ECOWAS, whether through seeking reforms, strengthening enforcement, or exploring new forms of cooperation, will be crucial. Moving forward, it is important to prioritize regional development and security over national divisions, address individual grievances, and foster a renewed sense of purpose. West Africans must commit to open communication, implement structural changes, and work together for the common good in order to navigate this challenging chapter and face the future with confidence and strength. Building a better future for the entire region will require strong leadership, a clear vision, and collective determination. The road ahead will not be easy, but the question remains: is ECOWAS up to the task of creating this brighter future? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you found it informative. If you would like to receive notifications whenever we upload similar videos, you can turn them on.